All right, everybody, welcome back to the During Business Hours podcast. My name's Christopher. I'm your host. Today I got the lovely, one-of-a-kind mother of my children, Mrs. Love, Leslie Nicole Love. How you doing today, baby?
All right.
Dakota here had kind of just dipped out and ignored me all week about recording, so I don't know if somebody online, one of the dear fans, has hurt his feelings. So you've been dealing with preparation with me on the Expo over the last few days. How stressed on a scale of 1 to 10 is it prepping for something like the Expo?
3.
3?
Things don't stress me, people do.
Yeah, me, mainly. I'm the stressor. I stress the fuck out like things aren't going to be ready, and then I do it, and I'm like, oh, why did I even stress in the first place? It's about getting all the things together because we overspent on dumb shit, my choice.
Not we there, sir.
Well, it's our money, so we overspent on dumb shit.
You overspent our money.
Okay, I overspent our money on dumb shit that we didn't need from the start. But it does look great. The booth has exceeded my expectations. I would say the best looking booth in the entire expo. Flat out.
Classy.
Very classy.
Bougie, if you would.
We got the floating TV. We got the music. We got the screen protector booth partition. We got the repair partition. We've got the camera rolling for people, to look. What is that? What do you do? What do you mean? But there's so many people nowadays doing just hobbyist stuff. Like, what's the majority that you saw at the expo?
Printed shirts and cups that people are making.
DTF, print on demand. Most of that stuff can be made
by anyone, really.
By anyone. Yeah, even my mother was there. Oh, if you didn't know, we flew my parents out to be here for the expo and around this time so that they could hang out. My parents, which surprisingly is working out better than we expected. I thought it'd be a little more turmoil. Not as bad. Well, tell me about it now. Tell me. What happened? I was surprised. From my end, it doesn't seem like there's many problems. From your end, apparently, there may be some problems we will discuss later. I was surprised also that most of the traffic, we were told that K101 was going to do so many sales positions of certain advertisers. They were going to be talking and selling.
Yeah, I didn't hear any of that.
Not one claim that the expo was going on until the halfway point of the expo.
It was like 5:30 and it was over at 8.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden 8 o'clock, we're closing down for the evening.
Makes your way to the door.
Nobody was talking about the expo on the radio.
Yeah.
And then they were saying, oh, I guess this year's going to be the worst turnout ever. Well, no shit. They haven't sold it. They didn't. Yeah, not advertising anything.
There's so many people that called or came in and they're like, oh, that's this weekend?
Yeah, nobody knew.
To the bank. Oh, that's this weekend?
You're the only...
I was the whole advertiser for this.
Yeah, I'm like, you're the only advertiser for this entire event, and you're supposed to say it's the biggest event of the year, of this time of year. Do better.
Right.
I'm just like, that's sad. This isn't a slight to like the people of K101, but the business side, damn, they missed out. There's a lot of empty booths. They're all stretched out. There's probably only 20 people in the main building, and then they were like, well, stop. You can't be in the main building this year. We're sold out. They're not sold out.
Yeah, there's hardly anything in there.
Come to find out, we've been asked not to be in the main building this year.
That's crazy to me because if I was just a customer and I'm walking into the main building, I'd do a lap, see that there's like 12 people and leave. I would not care to see the rest.
Yeah, I wouldn't care either. Our area is more popping for sure because there's all the vendors are walking around chatting all the whole 9 hours.
Right.
We all bought from each other. Like, I think most of our stuff was like from other business owners. And
I almost adopted 3 dogs in 8 hours.
Dino was fucking amazing. If he didn't shed
like
so
that.
much. The only thing is the shedding. I don't care about the temperament.
White dog too.
It wouldn't be so bad. We'll get to that later. But so we're not allowed to be in the main building. Let me tell you why. I have no problem with anyone in this town. I don't hold a grudge to anyone in this town.
That don't mean they don't.
Yeah, but there are people that I've been told before that you're going to burn bridges with everybody you'll fucking know. And it's usually people who fuck me over for some reason or another, dislike something I'm doing, that have a stick up their ass. Jeremy, for one, had a stick up his ass, made those threats. He apologized afterwards. Great. We're on peaceful terms. Rich. Or Rick, or Dick. I don't care what the fucking name is. Guy owns a cannabis dispensary I was friendly with. I was like, oh, your history and your story would be nice to get you on the podcast back in January. Was it January? Yeah, February?
Yeah.
And May, when we had the expo, I made a comment because he helped all the female booth people leave first. He packed them up. He's a flirty guy. I saw it. I heard it. The whole day, weekend of the expo, made a lot of sexual jokes to me and my partner at the time who was helping me with the woodworking, Zach, who... That didn't work out, but he was making a bunch of gay jokes because he didn't like Zach.
That's what was surprising to me because I was only there for a little bit on day one, and Rich came over playing hacky sack, and I was like, oh, wait a second, because when my husband gets here, he can play. And he was like, oh, who's your husband? And I was like, Chris. And he was like, oh, I thought he was gay.
He made a lot of gay jokes because I was hanging out with a dude after hours doing all the woodworking, getting business ready.
Right.
So I was like, okay, cool, game on. You made all these gay jokes, whatever. I made one joke that hurt his feelings so bad he has held a grudge for 5 months. Talk about destroying your feelings. All I did was walk up to him while he was helping another female who was a business owner, not a client, that I knew she had made some funny jokes. We had already had a banter back and forth, and was like, hey, if I grew bigger tits, would you help me pack up my booth first? He didn't like it. Apparently he went around telling everybody that I'm just not the type of person he would ever be in business with or be associated with. And then got me blocked from the main building because he's a cannabis seller. And out here, cannabis it's the poison of the sun. Everybody needs it, even though they don't want it. But they kind of, there's one on every fucking corner. It's crazy.
There's like 5 in this town, and this is a small place.
But that's also one of the things where it's not going to be around long. You see how fast it's growing to where every schmuck wants to build one of these little cannabis shops, and they run so fast, they, spite their face doing something. I know for a fact he's not making enough money to make ends meet on that. Just the amount of customers that go in daily, the really shitty advertising he's doing now, like, please come here, slashing 50% prices.
All the shops around town, like, obviously, I'm not a customer to any of them, but their prices are half of the prices I saw in California 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah. And it's getting worse. It's getting even worse and worse and worse.
Like, I think one of them said $20 for an ounce.
It's getting nuts, yeah.
We got potheads on this. $20 for an ounce.
You drive that cross country, you're making bank, baby. Even in California right now, still $1.20 an ounce, or a zip, or a lick, whatever you want to call it nowadays. But in Oklahoma, $20 for some chemical grade. Ooh, child. I'm just saying. So this man, I drove up, I saw him chatting with Dakota because I haven't talked to Dakota really. I just got this mean look. I'm like, oh, cool. Somebody's still got to stick up their ass. And I just honk, move, get out of the way, go drive, pick up our food, get our shit done. And I just thought it was the funniest thing once I got told that we weren't in the booth, that we weren't in there. Because, man, the place we're at now doesn't have air conditioning. It's not too bad. It keeps you warm, keeps all the people warm.
Big-ass fans.
They have big-ass fans. It says big-ass fan. But on the other side, it's like chilly. People are wearing sweaters, air conditioners on, da-da-da. There's only like 12, people in a couple of churches. But, man, I was surprised at all the hype that they were saying this was going to be and how big it was. Like, we could have had our own fair DIY / flea market.
Canopy in the driveway.
Yeah. Could have done a flea market.
Got more traffic there, really.
Yeah. So we'll stick it through. It's not the best, but we definitely have the best booth, best neighbors, nicest people. Yeah, we're killing it compared to most people. There's some good knife guy was making bank.
Bonbons is probably making bread over there.
No, she was saying she was having trouble today selling. She was hoping there was going to be a rush in the evening. Did she have a rush? She was
there when I was over there.
Yeah, so she was saying she was going to have a rush in the evening because I bought one in the afternoon, shared with Alex and the guys. And then, they were good. Those chocolates are good.
Yeah.
They remind me of a Bardot. She calls them a bonbon. They're just a ganache-filled chocolate. Very weirdly cone head shaped. Nah. Apparently your mother twisted her ankle.
Fractured it or something.
Did you find out what that was?
Yeah, I know she tripped over her dog. They were being rambunctious and she fell over the dog, and I guess she thinks she lost consciousness for a second. I guess Mark took her to urgent care.
Who found her?
Mark.
So Mark found her, and it was
like just a second, like a drop, and like I've done that before.
And lost consciousness? But
Very
you
briefly.
Knew you lost consciousness.
Yeah, matter of factly.
But she thinks it?
Right. and she wouldn't go to the ER, and that's why Deanna was upset and whatnot.
Yeah, because you were telling me she was upset. I was concerned for her.
But she sent me the doctor's note. I don't know if it said sprain or fracture, but
It looked like a sprain, but the swelling is pretty for a good twist, you know? I was wondering if it was something more major. That's why I asked. No, it's been good. I'm wondering how many people are going to avoid coming to the store until next week because we're at the expo. Because it seemed like we got numerous calls that weren't going to the store because they wanted to wait and avoid the expo today. Like, oh, no, I'll come tomorrow or I'll come Sunday.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, I know
we
we saw a lot of like housewives this morning with their children, but there's a lot of moms that just don't like lugging their kids around.
Your
you know?
cousin. That's the first time and only time she'll get out there, I guarantee it. That's the same in May. She came around, made one round, and then never went back.
This is like the first expo that she hasn't had as a vendor. She's not a vendor this time, so
She wasn't a vendor last time. She's never been a vendor.
Oh, maybe they did the elk one then.
Yeah, she's never been a vendor here. So, because she does this like...
No, at the rodeo she was until that storm came and wrecked their stuff.
What rodeo storm?
Okay, one of the nights when the rodeo was here that weekend, there was a good storm that night, and them and a bunch of other vendors had left their canopies and stuff up, not just tying it down, not expecting it to be as bad as it was.
So they just had canopies.
Right. So that's how, like, when we ran into Haley and she was hanging out with the frozen fruit candy people.
The freeze-dried nuts guys.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because their tent was right there before.
She was very flirty with them. It was weird. She was. It was very weird at the time. I didn't know she was hanging out with, like, non-churchy people.
That guy's in the church. He's not baptized, but he goes to church.
So he's not in the church, but he's associated with the church. If you're not baptized, you're not in the church. You're just... Because you're not making out with everybody.
You're working on it.
Yeah, you're working on it. When we saw them, I was surprised because it doesn't seem like they're the get out and do anymore type stuff like that. So, but that's separate to what I was saying earlier. The other thing, picking up my parents at the airport, Leslie here got very angry with me. You want to tell him why?
Because you went to the casino without saying anything again. That was the one thing I've told you for years.
Can anyone attest? And I just want an idea. I'm not trying to justify what I did. Have you ever not had a thought in your head and then somebody puts it into your head and then you can't get it out and you fought it for hours only to think about it at the most inopportune time? Like, oh, I'm just going to cave to it. That's me at 3 a.m. sitting at my charger going, I really should get a hotel, but I wonder if I can get points at a casino. Maybe there's a 24-hour casino. Oh, wait, there is. Newcastle Casino in OKC. It's only 5 miles away. Let me go in there. Let me see if we can get points. What happened next was unexpected, but also great.
Great is hardly the correct word.
I enjoyed myself because I put in $100 to each machine, $3,000, $2,200. Great. Didn't keep it all. Made a decent penny. They covered half of our costs on other items. So it was still convenient. So I had a blast till like 6 a.m., went back to charge and picked up my parents, got a good change. And
point being, if I had not said anything about a casino and not put the idea in your head, then you would have got there and said, well, Leslie didn't say I couldn't go. And then you would have told me the next day, well, why are you mad? If you didn't want me to go, you should have said something.
That is a possible outcome, but that's like
either way,
forcing.
One of my big rules was don't ever just go and not say anything. And that's now the second time you've done it in this month.
It's not that I didn't say anything. I waited till the morning.
Till after I found out on my own then say it.
You called me on it when we were in our argument. Not that I wouldn't have said anything. But
did you get there and step foot inside of the building without ever saying something to me?
Well, technically, I had typed something to you, but it doesn't matter. And then
you had not said anything to me.
I think at that point, I just deleted my message I had sent to you and said, "This is my happiness for the evening."
After I already said it on my own volition.
I know.
Intuition.
Well, was it intuition, or you saw the bank statement of me drawing money?
It was literally the second you left, I knew. I was actually surprised when I came home and you were there because I saw that you did no sale on the cash register. So I'm like, he took the cash. He's going to the casino.
I didn't even take the register cash that day.
Well, that's where my idea came in.
Yeah, because I didn't even take the register cash.
I knew at that point you were going to the casino.
Because I regretted not taking the register cash because I had $400 under the register. And I was like, I should have dropped that today, or I should have just pocketed it, went to the casino. When I went to the casino. But I ended up having to take money out of the ATM. Got into a petty-ass argument last week that I blew up way out of proportion on. And I don't know how many people do this, but then they just fester. And they reoccur stupid thoughts. And then I came up with any excuse to just not be present. And that's when I went to that casino when I was saying earlier in last week's video about me and Dakota. And I was like, hey, well, I was in a fight with my wife, went to the casino, won a bunch of money, which I did.
Yourself.
Yeah, pretty much a fight by myself. I fought myself and then walked out the door and handled business. So when going out to get my parents, I stopped off at the casino. And it turned out to be a positive thing. I got so much shit on the back end. So much warranted shit.
Anybody who's watched more than 3 of these episodes is calling 1-800-GAMBLERS for you right now.
Yeah, the problem is I'm up, and when I'm down, then it'll be a whole different thing.
Yeah,
but
when it's down, it's big down.
I know. Well, we'll see. The point being, when my mother jumped in the car, I had to tell somebody that I won and what happened. So I just blurted it out to her and my dad. So I was like, but don't tell Leslie. I'll tell her once we get home. And the first thing after that comment was, unless she sees the bank statement, which was the funniest thing because not even 20 minutes later, that's why my mom in the background when you were on speaker, when they're like, oh, you texted or something. And then I called you. I was like, wait, listen. And she was like, oh, I tried to tell him.
What's funny about that is I don't actually check the bank statement unless you're asking me to look at like what's going on with the bank. But this time I did because the day before I had set it up so I could transfer money from one account to the next.
So you're looking for the...
So I was looking for those verify amounts. And that's the only reason I saw it. My verify amounts were also there.
I fucked myself. Because it was going to be a surprise. Because
a surprise of I told you
I did something bad.
In front of your mama.
I understand, and I did something bad. And gentlemen, if you ever do this, come with gifts. Would you admit it eased the blow?
I didn't get a gift, so I have no idea.
What is that? What is that?
A phone?
That is
you are the techie person.
That is a brand. You complained about a phone. That is a brand new 15 Pro. 128 gigabyte in titanium gray with a perfect speckled fantastic Tech 21 case and a screen protector. Huh? Who got that? Who sat tired as shit and first thing in the morning to get it for you and then didn't even get it because I had to go to 3 stores. I promise you, T-Mobile stores. Because the first one didn't have any pros. The second one had 1 pro, but it wasn't in titanium, and I wanted to make sure you got the silver because apparently it glistens and it's more girly. And I was like, you know what? She needs that one. I don't want to get you the Pro Max. It's a little too big for your hands, and I want the Type 3 charger on it. I don't care my color. Then 26th Street North exit way, they were like, come on, we got 2 left. And this little girl, Angie, was like, yeah, we'll get it. We'll hold it for you. It's all good. Come on, homie. I was like, yep. I'm on my way. Sat there, sweat dripping. All right, we got to get this done. It's only like 10 a.m. waiting for a flight.
So you spent money at the casino, won a little bit, and then spent more than you won getting phones.
Yeah. I love you.
But you're the techie guy.
It doesn't matter. You deserve the best.
Okay. You being the techie guy, then explain to me what is upgraded on this phone that I didn't have on my previous one.
Battery capacity is up by about 20%. Your cameras, megapixel, I know you're thinking it's not a thing, but when you take pictures of those kids, we could do all kinds of fun little stuff to it. The new chipset makes it faster for multitasking. The transfer speeds. So right now on over half a terabyte of data, we're still transferring. That's about 30-ish minutes it's been going. 22 minutes on the record. Yeah, about 30-ish minutes this has been going. That phone would have done that in maybe 10. So the speeds at which you can move data, much faster. The cellular connection, we have T-Mobile out here. The bands are a lot worse. You should not miss any calls now. Off of Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's the one thing with
those bands
iPhones,
should work better.
Is once they push out a new phone, the older ones start
Yeah.
acting crazy.
But those bands should connect a lot better to separate carrier sections.
I got one bar.
But it should get you a better connection than it did before because we got no bars, remember? It was just cellular on Wi-Fi. You couldn't even get anything but an iMessage. But, so partly me, but I was not going to let my girl go bare. I would have paid for it out of pocket the whole way, but just so happens we got money from the casino. Oh, no. Well, then I also said, I was like, you know what? Consider this a gift to myself for my birthday this next week, 31st, Halloween,
We got 11 days. It's
Yeah.
over a week.
But yeah, so consider this a gift to me and a present to you.
So now I don't have to get you a
That's fine.
birthday present because
Yeah.
you've done run off twice.
It's not about running off. It was that I spent money on my phone and then paid for both phones.
You know what
I
was
mean?
life-changing when we moved here?
What?
I remember walking through that field going from the house to work, and you were saying something about Christmas or whatever, and you were going on about some present, but you had made a statement about how you had bought yourself a Christmas present. And at that moment, I didn't hear anything else because it had never occurred to me that you could buy yourself a present. So everything you had said after the fact just left my head because I was like, all these years I could have been buying myself a Christmas present, buying myself a birthday present, buy myself an Easter basket.
Yeah, why not?
Mind-blowing.
I've always earned myself, besides when I was with you and my family, I've always earned myself things. And I was like, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to reward myself. I deserve this. So if I worked hard enough and I got this and I was like, okay, I'm going to go get that steak dinner by myself. I sat there. I fucking ate it. I enjoyed it. I went to a movie by myself. I had my own everything and I appreciated that and I held that. So at any time, if I want to buy myself something, it makes me feel, it's not like, oh my God, like this is just
I never
Amazon.
thought of it on that scale because, like, you'd come home and I'd have, like, a third Starbucks that day and you make a joke about it and I'm like, yeah, treat yourself. But then you're out there treating yourself and I'm like, wait a second, I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah, you're going pennies. You could have been going dollars.
Coulda.
You could have had a
Shoulda.
whole basket of Coach purses and things like that.
Not my thing.
I know, but you could have. It was one of those things. I was like, if she really wanted to, she could have got me for a lot more than a duffel and a couple of jewelry, Like, sorry, not the same. These
I got
two
big ideas
are not
spinning now.
like the same. It's been an interesting life, but I apologize. I went out. It was also 3 a.m. I didn't want to text you and then do a bunch of stuff. Just know that.
Now, here's the thing. Generally, when we go to the casino, you spend significantly more than I do. Next time, we're switching it.
Go ahead.
I'm spending Chris money and you're spending Leslie money.
We're supposed to be going Saturday to take my parents.
Yeah.
That's going to be hard.
Leslie money is about 1/10 of Chris money.
Yeah, but so I just did that with the two. Okay, let's do it next time.
If you're done in 10 minutes, you're done in 10 minutes. Sorry.
I'll remember that. If I'm done in 10 minutes, you're done in 10 minutes.
30 seconds or less.
30 seconds or less. Sorry. I think that'll be it for this conversation. We got to get this out because this is Friday. You're watching this Saturday at noon. Just remember to like, comment, fucking share. Be giving. The world needs a
Yeah,
share.
we just did relationship therapy live. Well, I guess not live, but live.
Yeah, well, it's also relationship therapy, business therapy. This is during business hours where we enjoy to give you the real, unfiltered bullshit that we go through, that we experience, and what we have feelings on. So we'll see you next time. Fucking share.
Life can be super happy, life can be super sad. I'm trying super hard to separate the good and bad. I go back to my future just to get to my past. But knowing me, my DeLorean will probably